Happy Trails has been around about 18 years, and it started with a pig. And our original founder, Annette Fisher Bragg, found a pig and had a dream of helping farm animals that have been abused and neglected, and that's how the story began.
A pig named Janice was rescued from a dark barn. She was unable to walk, and she was the first animal that was brought here to the property. And from there was a need for a rescue for farm animals. There's so many organizations for cats and dogs, which are wonderful, but farm animals can be abused and neglected just like any other animal. And so we offer a home for animals, rescued farm animals that have been abused, neglected, abandoned, what have you.
We have a mission of stopping the cycle of abuse. So our animals come to us by law enforcement officers or humane shelters that have taken the animal in with a situation that there's going to be some kind of a court case or some kind of a prosecution involved.
We've rescued hundreds of roosters who have been involved in cockfighting. We find there may be a neglect of horses or have been starved and are stuck in a barn, and the Humane Society will call us up and we will evaluate the situation, and if we can take them in, we will, and give them the veterinary care they need, and hopefully then adopt them out or rehome them into a safe environment.
So we work very closely with local, regional, and state, but we will also accept animals from other sanctuaries across the United States. And we actually have some reciprocal relationships where often we'll take in animals that are local, and we might trade out for animals that they have an overabundance of.
Like most of the people who've come here to the board, we have some connection with animals throughout our lives that brought us here to be involved with this organization. I was just one of those kids that had that attachment to animals, was a little bit more upset when something bad would happen, when one would be sent away. We want to make sure that the animals who are brought in from a traumatic neglect or abuse situation are going into a safe home. So it's a formal adoption process where, if you are interested in adopting, what we will do is we'll go out and evaluate your home, your farm, your area where you're going to have the animal. And then we'll have you come in and you can look at the animals. If you want a horse, or if you want a steer, or you want a pig, you'll get to know them and hopefully make a right match for you. We have a wonderful adoption coordinator who will meet with you and work with you, and they'll stay here until we have them ready to go, or think we can find them a home. We found a bunch of chickens at a rest stop that had also fallen off the meat truck, and they, these are animals who've never felt grass under their feet. They've been raised and bred, and they are shipped off, and some of them are blessed and touched by an angel and get out. And the animal, like those stories, we put them on Facebook, and we let people know we have this new rescue, and people will apply for them, and they go pretty quickly to adopt it out pretty fast.
We definitely follow up. We want to make sure, again, that the animal is happy, safe, healthy. We want to make sure that the new owner is satisfied with the match that we've made and that they helped contribute to. One of the things that we say is that once our animals are adopted out, they always are welcome back. So for whatever reason, if there's a new scenario with the new homeowner that they can no longer take care of the animal, we always will bring them back and rehome them. Yeah, we really try and rehabilitate them and get them into the proper home quickly. One of our goals is to have a lot of adopters waiting, and so when we have the animals that are brought in, we have ideas of who might be interested in adopting them. And so if anyone's interested in adopting and we may not have the right animal, go ahead and put in your adoption application, because we get animals, unfortunately, all too often that need homes. We intake anywhere between 100 and 300 animals a year. So over the course of years, we probably have brought in over 3,000 animals and found homes for most of them. So we have about 11 acres on our property, and we really try and take in as many farm animals as we can.
$600,000 a year it takes to run this big operation. If you think about the electricity, the water, the veterinary bills, the sawdust, the straw, all of that, lots of takes money, and all of it comes from private donors. We get some corporate donors, and we get grant money.
Yeah, I mean, you think about the cost of running an 11-acre sanctuary, and to bring in abused and neglected animals, there is so much veterinary bills, a cost to take an animal who has been starved and appropriately get them back to health, from a feeding schedule, the veterinary care, farrier care, and everything in between. And that's really just the horses. I mean, that's my expertise, but the same thing with the cockfighting animals that are brought in, the roosters. I mean, they come in sometimes bloody, and unfortunately we can't save all the animals either. We have to make the hard decisions as to which ones that we can take care of and which ones are just too far gone.
What we want to do is make these animals here comfortable and happy while they're here. So we've been building rooster condos for the cockfighting roosters. They can't be around each other or they'll fight and kill each other. So each one of those poor little birds has to have a separate home. We just keep building and expanding for that. Like this arena is for training the horses. You know, horses that are injured or having some sociability issues, we can work with them in this arena. So donors have been wonderful enough to give us some money to make these buildings happen.
So our tour season runs from May to October. We do tours on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. And it's so fun to watch people who have never been to Happy Trails Sanctuary and come for the first time. And it's also fun to watch people who just come again and again. And so during the tours, they get a tour guide, and they'll spend time learning about the animals. And often, because these animals have been rehabilitated and handled, they're extremely friendly. So we've had people that get on the ground, play with the pigs. Kids can get photo ops. I don't want to say it's a petting zoo, but it really can feel that way because there's so many opportunities to spend time with the animals during our tours.
So you get a mixed reaction because people just aren't used to farm animals, and they're not sure, they don't know if they're going to bite or kick or what have you. So I think most people are just surprised that, wow, these pigs are pretty cool. They're really smart. I've never thought of them other than a piece of bacon. And so you get all sorts of reactions. We like to get many as young people out here as possible, kids, so they can learn at a young age that these animals can be a companion to. And I think the horses, we know people ride horses and grow up with them, but like the cows and the pigs and the chickens, I just like to get the people to know that they're something more than what you eat.
So I'll tell you the story of Dusty. So Dusty came to the sanctuary probably the fall of 2016. And Dusty was a beautiful, dun-colored little pony. And his family basically decided they didn't want him anymore. So they had left him out in pasture. And during the time he was in pasture, he had foundered. And if you know anything about foundering, it's an extremely painful condition for the horse. It's almost as if you have shoes that are 3 sizes too small and are like 6-inch heels. And that's what you've been walking on. That's what happens to their hooves when you founder. He had not been given the proper nutrition. And when he came to us, his hooves kind of had that elf-shaped that happens with a horse that does not have the proper farrier care. And he was just full of burrs. And so he came to us, and we had to, give him the proper veterinary care, give him the proper feeding regimen to get some weight on him. We also had to spend time really working his coat to get all those burrs out. And he was just the cutest little pony. And we were able to find just a wonderful home for him, and he's out really enjoying his time. And he is now, his laminitis, or his founder, is taken care of, and he's out enjoying his new home. So I'm going to give you a story of one of our roosters that we rescued named Cogburn. So we get a call from the police, and they had said they've had a couple of reports of this rooster running around a neighborhood. They aren't able to catch them. They've had multiple calls and asked what we could do to help. Our staff is so wonderful. They dropped what they were doing, and 2 of our staff was able to catch this rooster, bring him back, and he was just wandering around the streets, and who knows what would have happened to him if they didn't call us, and we were able to help the police. So our goals for the future is to just continue our mission. We want to continue rescuing the animals, continue rehabilitating, and continue finding some wonderful homes for them. With an operating budget of $600,000 a year, we also have a goal of having at least half of that in operating reserves, so that we don't have to rely month to month on donations or sponsorships. Those are extremely important, but to have a nest egg so that if we have a huge rescue that comes in of maybe 10 horses, or a huge rescue that is extremely costly, we can dip into the reserves and then replenish with the donations that people are usually so generous to provide in the needs of our animals. The other thing that we'd like to do is to continue upgrading the sanctuary grounds. We've done some amazing work just over the past year with excavating, reducing rainwater, sitting water, creating facilities for the animals that have in and out functionalities that really provide them a lifestyle, so that as long as they're at the sanctuary, they have a happy time here. And then obviously we get them to their home, and it's hopefully even better.
We'd like you to come out here and see there's a bit more to them. They can be just as good pets and good companions as much as a cat or a dog.
It is wonderful when these animals, it like makes me get teary-eyed, because these animals have been through a lot. And when we can rehabilitate them, get them healthy again, when we can see them go to their forever home, to me that's the best feeling. We miss them, but it's our mission, it's what we do. And when they can go to their home and run in the pasture, meet their new friends, it's the best feeling ever.